And welcome back. Well, with the growth of the internet and social media, we thought it would be a special treat for our Week in Review viewers to bring to you today a gentleman who is known here in the county as the blogger, our own John Fernay from Eye on Annapolis. John, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for asking me, Eric.
We appreciate you coming out to the program and taking a few minutes away from the computer to talk to our viewers out there instead of our online viewers and
Absolutely.
listeners. So I want to start with a little bit about social media. I mean, this is something that we've seen over the course of pretty quick here, over the last 2 to 3 years, really come in and take over the way people get their news and information. You developed a site, Eye on Annapolis. How do you see that as competing in today's media market?
It's a great supplement to today's media market. When you figure about what media is, you typically think of magazines, newspaper, television, and radio. And as you said, people are turning around, they're looking for news more immediate, right in the moment. And it's just a great supplement to bring it in. You bring it in with the social media, you bring it in with Facebook and Twitter, bring it into blogging, which tends not to be more the deep investigative pieces, but real quick snippets, and it's just sort of just the facts. It's the Joe Friday of the news world.
Absolutely.
So what things can we typically find on your blog?
What types of things? Pretty much everything. I mean, the focus of Eye on Annapolis is to cover anything that's of interest to anybody that lives, plays, or visits Anne Arundel County. It's certainly not all-encompassing. There's some other outfits that do great jobs with, deep news and calendars and everything else. But we do cover crime, we cover education, we cover government, both for Anne Arundel County and the city of Annapolis as well. Education, I think I mentioned that. Events that are going around, fundraisers, nonprofits. We have a weekly volunteer corner post, which all the different volunteer opportunities that are available through the county. And it's a snippet of what's going on around the county, and everybody really seems to enjoy it.
Well, John, I tell you, you tend to, and I do read the blog from time to time.
Thank you.
You do tend to, and you do a nice job, but you do tend to get the stories before anybody else. I see a lot of times I'll see Eye on Annapolis has something, and then maybe a day or two later, you'll start to see it in the bigger press, the Capitol or in the Sun paper. How are you getting that information? What's your secret? Give us the secret of the trade.
Some of it's a lot of it's luck. Sometimes I will get an email message. Sometimes a reader will send me a note, a tip, if somebody is actually there witnessing something. And a lot of it is just really sort of knowing what's going to resonate with the community. I'm just trying to think recently. I know there was down in South County, there was an unfortunate assault, and I knew that was going to be something that's going to register with the community, and they're going to want to talk about that. So that was something that we would go with. A lot of it is luck. We got to subscribe to different alerts from different services that will send us different things, so we get that. And the neat thing is that we can be immediate as far as our, we can go right out onto Twitter immediately. We can go right out onto Facebook immediately. On the blog, it might be 3 or 4 minutes before you get it out there. And we're not stuck to a deadline with the Capitol. The Capitol has a 2 p.m. deadline, I'm sorry, they switched.
They backed up to 11.
They're down in the morning. And if something happens after 11 o'clock in the morning, it's old news by the time. And with today's media, it's really got to be immediate.
So how many viewers or hits do you typically have on your blog now?
There's any number of different ways to look at that. Right now, we are averaging about 1,700 unique visitors per day. So that's 1,700 people that are coming there and doing something. They typically look at about 3 pages, which is kind of neat. And I'm very proud. We're just about to hit our 500,000th, half millionth visitor in probably the next couple of days.
So what kind of comments are you getting back? I know that you, on blogs, unlike other media outlets, TV, radio, you can get comments. So you can post something on there. You don't necessarily have to document all your sources as a big major media outlet would, because it is a blog. But what kind of comments are you getting back from the public on this?
Well, as far as documenting, I mean, we try to document as where we can, where we get the sources from as best we can. And obviously there's a lot of corrections that go through it when you, I'm just trying to think, there was something that was, with a breaking news type of a story.
Sure.
You put what you know, and then if you know something more, you correct it. And you leave the original thing there, so people can sort of see your changes as you've gone through that. And being able to correctly, ultimately, at the end, get to the final true story really brings a lot of credibility to the table there. And you sit there, you're not afraid to, I made a mistake.
Sure, that's easy enough to say, easy enough
Sure.
to admit. I do it all the time, right, Carla?
I think we both do, Eric.
We do. But tell me, did you have a career, or you were a journalist in your past life before you did this, or how did you get involved in this? Because you do a good job. You break some good stories on
My background actually is in travel.
Okay.
I have owned several travel agencies in the county. I have an online agency currently still that's pretty much run by somebody else that's managing it. And through that, I worked with MSNBC.com. I was a travel columnist for them. I had a syndicated column, and I had learned a lot of the social media and a lot of the new internet Web 2.0 and Internet 2.0 through them. When it came to Annapolis, and there was very little blogs, there was very little other media other than the Capitol. You look at What's Up magazine, you've got WRNR, WNAV, and there really wasn't anything that was out there, and I thought it was just something that was just sort of something to fill in the gaps, and that's where it was. I didn't want to be too focused on Annapolis per se, despite the name, because Anne Arundel can be spelled any number of different ways. I went with something a little bit easier to remember, but I didn't want to be too large, and I figured, just focus on the county and what's of interest to the people that live, work, and play here.
Good.
So we have the Eye on Annapolis blog, the Facebook page, the City of Annapolis Facebook page, Twitter. What's next?
Well, it's not the City of Annapolis. It's not an
okay.
official page. It's called Annapolis, Maryland, and we grabbed that a long time. We've got about 32 or 33,000 fans that are on that, and that's a lot of fun. We're just keeping our eye out for it. As we grow, as we're able to, bring on maybe some paid staff. That's my goal down the line. We're certainly going to integrate some of the other social media things into there. We'll look into Foursquare. Let's find out where the bloggers are, where the photographers are. So that's where we are, and obviously we're looking to forge our relationships with the different departments in the county, within the departments of the city, different organizations throughout. It's great. Special Olympics contacted us. They wanted us to cover the polar bear plunge. So it was just wonderful to be able to get down there. We brought, myself, I had somebody else that was writing for us. Then we also had another photographer that came down there, and we were able to document that really cold morning.
Yeah, it was cold. But I can't let you get out of here, John, without talking a little bit about Anne Arundel County and some of the major things that you've seen and you've reported on over the years, and what you see for the future, what you see as the big issues facing Anne Arundel County and maybe some challenges we have going forward.
I don't think there's any surprises there, Eric. I think you look at crime is a huge issue, and it's moving everywhere. We just look, with what happened up here in Glen Burnie, with this poor woman in the parking lot. Yeah. South County used to think that they were a little bit exempt from any kind of crime, and that doesn't happen down here.
Sure.
And it is. I mean, we've had two, fairly recent crimes that have happened down there. Education is huge with the amount of parents and families that we have here, especially when you look at in certain areas where you had a high concentration of families that went to private education, and now they're switching to public education. So they're taking a great interest in the public education and what their children are getting for their tax dollars and everything else. And then obviously we want to keep our politicians and everybody on, transparency is the name of the new millennium.
That's it.
And that's something that we really need to hold them accountable for. And I think people really want to see that.
Well, a new council is in town. County Executive Leopold, of course, has been reelected. A couple new freshman delegates over there at the General Assembly. The political bend in the county, what do you see? Is that going to stay leaning more towards the conservative side, or do you see the ability for it to move a little more back to the center?
I think Anne Arundel County has been more conservative than certainly many other counties in the state. And I really think it's moving that way. I think you're looking at the new people that are moving into the area are looking for a more conservative bend to it. Certainly, it's not going to be too much of an impact that you're going to be able to. I don't think it would be too much of an impact where you could infect an election or something, or a gubernatorial election or something like that. I don't think we'll ever, go that way. But I do think the services and what we offer here, I think the population is looking for that. I think. It'll be interesting to see the council this term's council without any females represented. I don't know how that demographic will hold out, but it'll be interesting to see. And I mean, it's got a fairly decent mix of people on there, and I think it's great. I mean, I think overall, as with anybody that gets reelected with County Executive Leopold, obviously, he's been doing something right to get the majority of the people back. And certainly, there's not without controversy, as with,
Sure.
the mayor of Annapolis or,
Sure.
Whatever it is. But it's, and the voters will look to hold, pretty much everybody accountable for them. And, blogs actually bring that out into them. They're able to join the conversation. They're able to comment on a thing. I think you're wrong on this. I think you're right on that. And here's my opinion. And it's kind of interesting to see how everybody moves.
Absolutely. Well, things are moving, especially in the world of blogs, things are moving. It's amazing how quick you can just get information and get news stories. And of course, you can get them at Eye on Annapolis. Go check out John Fernay's site, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find out everything that's going on in Anne Arundel County that we might not tell you about until next week here on Week in Review.
Right.
So, John, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And best of luck in your future endeavors, and keep doing a great job over there.
Well, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Take
Thank
care.
you, John.
Thanks.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and send it to a break, and when we come back, there'll be more real-time news here on Week in Review.